Welcome to my little space where heart and hook stitch up a place where we can together make a refuge safe for all our sake. So this is from 2 years ago when my partner and I and my kids and my dad all went out behind my house in the olive grove that is there just now for like walking paths, recreational purposes for the newer neighborhood that's on the other side of the grove. And we picked, as you can see, 2 buckets full of olives. So we are still going through them because we kind of neglected to keep utilizing the olives, but when they are prepared and ready to eat, we can eat a lot of these things. So the really big jar you see here, I don't remember how many we ended up with total, but we have several more in the garage still, and they are, my partner is the one that knows how to do this, but he's already treated them with lye, did all the stuff to make them edible, and they are sitting in these really big jars in the garage in strong brine right now, and I don't know how long they would last, probably several more years, but yeah, I'm going to be more on top of it now so that I can be eating them every day basically. And what you need to do is you just take them out of the strong brine that they're in, you put them in another container and you fill it with water, just plain tap water. That way osmosis takes effect and the overly salted olives will become nice to eat after a couple days. I like noticing when my crochet matches something I'm wearing. Okay, so this one is the second one in my fiery color scheme of red, orange, and yellow. And I really love the balance that I ended up with. This one, I only had this yarn enough to go from here to here. And then I switched to this black with this scraggly red for the rest of that. But it's a nice balance of like half and half. And then you've got all this fuzzy on this row and in the very first. This one has fuzzy at the very edge, and this one has fuzzy like midway around. So I really like the balance that it gives it. Also, we've got like this multicolored yarn here in this row. We've got a multicolored yarn here in this row, and a multicolored yarn here in this row. Each one is different, a different spot on the panel where it has a fuzzy, and a different spot on each panel where it has one of those multicolored yarns. And I love the balance that it has. And then this one I'm going to use for seaming all of it together. Oh, so cool. So cool. You rock it, Aileen, every time. I'm sorry. Somebody needs to like kick my ego down a step. Okay, see what I mean? Come on. You'll get to see me model this in a little bit in this video. Because I figured I'd show you everything I made this week. Here's a meme I made. You know, just pointing out about how he lies about even the most inconsequential things like his height. These 2 men are 6'2", so obviously Trump is 6'3". My partner's cat, Marie, put on a little show for us. So this time I waited until the last minute to create the Nana that was due the next day. So I made this Nana the day before and the day of the day that it was due. But it worked. I got her done. This is your weekly reminder that every Nana I sell in my shop on Etsy the money will be donated to the ACLU minus shipping costs. This is Nana Tig, named after Tig Notaro, who I totally recommend going and checking her out if you haven't. There is a documentary on Netflix, and she has a stand-up special there too. And I dove right into making another Nana for the next week because I was away from home and I didn't have my yarn stash with me when I ended up getting a couple more custom orders. As you can guess, I did get an order for a Ruth Bader Ginsburg collar, and I do have this pattern for free online. It's the only pattern I've ever published for free, so I'll put the link to that in the description box below. But while we watch me make this in time lapse, I thought I'd let you know about something I'm doing in my shop. So this week I've been working on updating my prices in my shop to reflect a higher wage for myself. If you aren't aware, I do a choose your own price kind of sliding scale type of system in my shop for my customers. And the bottom price that I am happy to take has been set at $10 an hour. It's a price that will pay me $10 an hour. However, I've just decided to raise that bottom price to reflect a $12 an hour wage, which is funny because that's actually the starting wage that I had when I started at Chase back in, I want to say 2009 or 2010. I think it was 2010. And so here, yeah, 15 years later, I'm shooting for that wage. Bare minimum, at least. I do have a lot of customers, and I so appreciate you, who choose in the upper range as well. So if you were curious about what I was doing there, I was pouring some boiling water over my acrylic yarn collar to kill the acrylic so that it ends up a little more flowy and so it has a nice drape to it. And then I pinned it to my ironing board and let it dry in the sun. In one of my earliest vlogs, I talked a little bit about Lark Camp. It's a folk music and dance camp, and my parents go to it every year. I only went once as an adult, but my mom wanted to take some of these nanas with her to promote what I'm doing. So I printed up a little information sheet as well as created a QR code that takes people straight to my shop section for all my available nanas. After much consideration, I've chosen 3 nanas that I will be sending with my mother to camp. This one is Nana Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Well, Nana Alexandria, named after AOC. This one is Nana Sarah, named for Sarah McBride, Congresswoman. And then this is Nana Tig, the most recent one I just made, named after Tig Notaro. The other couple metrics that I'm adjusting my prices in my shop are I'm raising the amount that I'm including to cover shipping costs because the post office just keeps raising their prices, and I haven't upped my shipping costs in a while, and I've fallen behind now, so I'm losing money there. And then also for my very top price, it's set based on what would pay me what's considered an average livable wage in California. And now for 2025, that has updated to be like $1 more than last year. So I've upped that as well. But the thing is, I have so many listings, it's just going to take me so long to get to adjusting all of them. So I'm doing it batch by batch. But if you were hoping to get something from me soon, please don't despair that my prices are going up. It's not that big of a price increase if you consider how expensive these items are already. But also I am shooting for, by the end of this year, like leading up to Christmas, probably I'm going to be adding several other items that I have in stock to my perpetual sales category in my shop. So I'll have some more discounted items that are now getting to be a few years old, sitting around that I just want to get shipped out to their forever homes. So obviously what you see here is me getting items ready to ship. I did get another order for a tongue-tied mouth puppet. Those things are popular. So I grabbed another set of the top and bottom pockets for the mouth, and I made a new tongue and finished assembling it. And I sold a flying spaghetti monster tree topper again, so that's also going out. It was already finished. Okay, so I'm always super stoked to get an order for a custom horse. And this time this customer gave me a whole bunch of pictures to go off of, as well as a whole long list of items that she made sure she wrote out for me to notice that she wanted to see in the horse. And yeah, I could see all of those individual things in the pictures, but it was nice to have her delineate what exactly details she sees that she wants to see in the horse. And so I used post-it notes to write down all the notes that she gave me so that I knew what I needed to make sure to get on each section of the horse: the face, each leg, the body, the hooves, the mane, the tail. And I just did several time-lapse videos of crocheting different parts of this horse. I didn't do the entire thing on time-lapse. That was my initial idea. But there's the head. So I love this pattern. This is a pattern by ZZ Dora Crochet. She sells this on Etsy and maybe other places too. I'm not sure. I'll put a link to the pattern in the description box. And the pattern is called Candy the Unicorn. Candy with an I, the unicorn. And I've used this pattern many times to do custom horses because the body shape is just quite amazing for a crochet pattern to look like a realistic animal. And I really, really enjoy crocheting these. I can really zone out and follow the pattern, and it's just a whole bunch of counting, and then the more meticulous artistic part comes in after I crochet the base of the horse body, because then I do all this embroidering to get all the details. So I oftentimes will change yarns as I'm crocheting to get color changes. But if there's a lot of coloration, spots, stuff like that, I don't necessarily change yarns frequently, and I'll just opt to embroider most of it at the end. And that way I can use the base body of the doll kind of like a cross stitch canvas. And oftentimes I'll use cross stitch if I need to fill in large spaces, or I'll just use other embroidery stitches to get the markings on there that I need. Okay, so I had a little mishap making this horse yesterday, and I thought I was paying attention to what I was doing, but can you tell the mishap? Check it out. Look at the front legs. So somehow, as I was following the pattern, and the white is not supposed to be in like the same amounts on each leg. This leg is supposed to have more of the white, but as I was following the pattern, there should only be on the front leg 2 bumps. And here's the first bump. Below this bump, instead of following the pattern that's supposed to be right after that bump, I somehow jumped up in the pattern and followed this section of the pattern again. So then here's this bump a second time, and then from here down is correct the way it's supposed to be here after this bump. So I ended up with a really long leg by accident. I actually did this leg before this leg, and I realized my mistake before I made this leg. But now that I've made this leg, I wanted to make this leg first to see where the white was going to end up, because I wanted to see how many more rows of white I want to do on this leg. Because on this leg I'm going to do, so I have to undo this all, obviously, from like here down. So I'm going to do like start with the white like at this row down on this leg. But the leg itself should be the same length. So I thought I would just show that, because I'm showing my process of making this horse, and that's pretty funny. I've never done that before, and I've made a bunch of horses. See, now that's much better. So as a quick reminder, this is a shrug I made really recently, and look at my lovely customer. I told her I wanted to show off her Instagram here a little bit. I'll link to her in the description box below as well, but you can find her on Instagram at Michelle's Fantasy Faces. Looks like she does face painting, but she also makes wet felted hats from wool roving, and they look so creative and whimsical. I swear, stuffing these horses is a skill all in its own, but yeah, they really start to come to life as soon as it gets stuffed. And we are totally watching My Little Pony while I make horse ears. Okay, so check it out. So now she has all the little white markings that her owner pointed out to me, and also that I could see in her pictures, as well as right above her hooves she has some of these black spots, and the shape of the coloration here on each leg is slightly different. And for the hooves I used a charcoal gray and a beige. And as you can see, I put the beige in the same kind of front lower quadrant of each hoof, but I didn't really like how stark of a contrast there was between the gray and the beige. So I went ahead, and because the pictures, it does show more of a solid patch of beige on the most, like all of the hooves, basically at the bottom front, it's the most prominent. But the gray isn't really a solid gray. It's all kind of mixed with the beige. So that's why I actually split the yarn, the beige yarn, into the 4 separate plies, and I embroidered with a single ply of the beige. It held together enough. I didn't know if it would fall apart, but it held together, and I was able to kind of just blend that beige into the gray there. And then also she pointed out to me that her horse has this bump here, and she asked if I would be able to do that. So I was able to do that with just embroidery. If you can believe it, that's all embroidered just over one single stitch. And I just embroidered several times over it in a crisscross motion. And just X's one way and then the other. And then it eventually forms a ball that stands out. You can see really well in that angle. So now all that's left are her mane and her tail. And there are more specifics that I need to do for the mane and the tail. They're mostly black, but with a little bit of white strands in there that are shorter than the black strands. And then her mane is short, but she's got a long patch right here. So I'll be doing that now. Hello friends! I thought I'd show you what I got up to. I already showed you the horse with its tail, her tail. She still needed her mane, so I haven't done any more work on it yet, but I thought I saw some brown in the mane hairs in one of the pictures, so I messaged the customer and asked about that because I thought we had talked about the hair in the mane being all black with a little white. And since I didn't hear back right away, I went ahead and got a little more work done on this next Nana, which she's due to be released on Wednesday, and today is Monday. So I do need to finish her as well. So that's why I worked on her. This one is going to be named after when she's born. She's not born yet. She'll be named after God, as in the figure that goes by God or Good God Above online as a comedian. So that page has been inspiring to me, and I wanted to name a Nana after God. So I don't know if he'll ever see this or not, but I'm definitely going to try to send him a message about it. A lot of the famous people, and some of the not quite as famous people, but still pretty well followed people that I've named Nanas after, I have reached out to many of them and never heard back from any of them. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but you know what? That's not why I'm doing this. So, if they're interested and they're reading their messages, maybe they'll see that I've done this. Honored them with a Nana. Whether they consider it an honor or not is up to them. But so now I'll do a little time lapse of putting her mane on. If you watch carefully, you'll see I've started to install the hair, but then I go back and I uninstall the first several pieces because I decided that the mane was going to look too thick and bulky doing 3 strands per spot. So I undid the first few that I initially did, and I went back and did 2 strands per spot. And there she is. See, she's got her short mane with little bits of white in it, with this longer chunk towards her head up here. And then of course she has a forelock up here that I noticed it looks like the hairs end like around halfway down these white markings here. So that's why it goes like that. You kind of position it how you like. And there she is. She's done. I'll photograph her. And I got permission to show you the inspiration horse. So here she is. Forgive me for the not super great lighting in here, but I've already shown you what these look like under better lighting. I'm so pleased that somebody wanted this tank top. I made this, I'm not even sure how many years ago, but look at all the different fancy yarns in here. Let's take a moment of some yarn appreciation here. And then here's the fringe. Look at this stuff. So, this has been sitting in a plastic bin for several years, and it can go to its forever home now. And as you already saw, here's the horse. So I need to get these packaged up. I will do that now. And as a little sneak peek to next week's video, look what I have out here. So somebody wants one of the Flower of Life Faye vests, kind of like what I did before, all in teals and turquoises. So I grabbed all my teals and turquoises, as well as yarns that are multicolored that include teal or turquoise. And so these are yarns that I think I could use in the body of the vest. It's certainly going to be too much, but these are more like a medium weight yarn. And then these are all either bulky or specialty yarns, and then 2 fabrics that I can use in the fringe. So look at this yarn right here. That is recycled silk from saris from India. I got that years ago, and I've got 3 balls. I'm down to my last one, I think. So that'll be coming up next Tuesday. And I just need to wait to hear back from my customer if there's anything in this pile here that she does not like. And if there's any particular order that she prefers me put them in. And I look forward to getting started on that. Well, thank you so much for joining me for another week in my wild little fiber life. Crochet hooks and colors bright, crafting wonders day and night. Join the fun, come see it through, subscribe, and I'll create for you.